Congress is supposed to be the brakes on executive power. Here in Texas, we call that all hat, no cattle. We've been sold this hallmark fantasy called checks and balances, the sacred cow of American civics. Every high school kid has to memorize it right after the Pythagorean theorem and before they forget them both. 3 branches of government, right? The Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria. Oh, sorry, wrong trio. Congress makes the laws. The president enforces the laws. And the courts, well, they take naps until someone sues. Here's the punchline. In practice, checks and balances work about as well as your cousin's crypto wallet. All hype, no cash. The reality? Checks bounce, balances collapse, and Congress folds faster than a cheap lawn chair at a Texas barbecue. The founders wanted a president, not a king. What we got instead was a 4-year monarchy with optional impeachment, and a Congress is too busy auditioning for cable news hits to notice that they've been demoted to the court jesters. Let's be real. Congress doesn't check the president, they enable him. Democrat or Republican, conservative or liberal, it doesn't matter. Each side plays lapdog when their guy is in the White House, and only suddenly discovers separation of powers when the other side wins. Emergency powers, executive orders, signing statement, each president treats the Constitution like an Etch-a-Sketch. Shake it, redraw it, declare victory. One side calls it restoring democracy. The other side calls it saving America. But what is it really? Because it certainly isn't checks and balances. It's an endless game of who gets to wear the crown today. Spoiler, the crown never goes back into the box. No, it's more like a 2-party custody battle where the kids, us, never stop getting screwed. And while they're pretending to fight, the presidency keeps on absorbing power like a shop vac at a chili cook-off. And Congress, they nod along like the world's worst landlord. Sure, Mr. President, just knock down another wall. It's not like anyone ever lives there. Let's not pretend this is a partisan problem. Republicans chant border crisis like it's a magic spell. Democrats chant climate crisis like it's holy scripture. Different hymns, same church. The church of unlimited executive power. You want an example? Simple. War powers. The Constitution says only Congress declares war. But since 1942, Congress has declared war exactly 0 times. But presidents have launched over 200 military operations on their own. That's not checks and balances. That's a reality show called Commander-in-Chief. And don't even get me started on executive orders. Every president promises restraint and then governs like they're signing autographs at Comic-Con. Executive action is supposed to be the exception, not the operating system. Right now, our democracy runs on presidential cheat codes while Congress plays Candy Crush. And Texas, we've perfected the parody. A governor who declares emergencies like Oprah giving out cars. You get a crisis and you get a crisis. Everyone gets a crisis. At this point, leadership looks less like governance and more like a toddler hammering the panic button just to watch the lights flash. It's not about left or right, Biden or Trump, Abbott or whoever's next in line at the rodeo. It's structural. Congress surrendered its spine. The courts rubber stamp power grabs, and we, the people, are left with a 4-year monarchy on auto-renewal. Here's the thing. Liberty cannot live in a permanent state of sirens. Government that suspends rights every time it feels urgent isn't protecting you. It's training you to kneel. Liberty doesn't survive on blind trust and executive good intentions. It survives on limits. Hard, enforceable, structural limits. Term limits. Power limits. Emergency limits. Because freedom doesn't die with a bang, but with a joint resolution quietly authorizing the president to just handle it. Real checks and balances don't depend on whether Chuck Grassley's in a good mood or Mike Johnson feels generous. They depend on structure, on rules that cannot be gamed, on decentralization that makes it impossible for one man or one office to crown itself king every time the polls dip. If Congress is supposed to be the branch that holds the crown in check, then why are they the ones polishing it for the next emperor-in-chief? Maybe the real emergency isn't at the border or the climate. Maybe it's the Constitution itself. The founders feared kings. Turns out the real danger wasn't one man grabbing a crown. It was 535 courtiers too cowardly to take it back. And unless we rewrite the rules, the throne's not just occupied, it's permanent. The question is, how long before we admit it?